All right, Coach Leiker and Coach McCoy here with us with Zach Mitchell and Steve McNett. Kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Butler game and kind of get y'all's viewpoints on that. First off, Coach, congratulations. It's your first time beating Butler as a head coach. How does that feel going through that?
Well, it's actually the fifth.
The fifth.
But the first here.
Okay.
But we had them before they really became what they have become.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was at Garden City, we beat them 4 out of 5, but we were the kind of the king at the time back then. But it felt really good to get a win, and in those circumstances, which was, to be honest with you, in the back of my mind, I really couldn't foresee it. You know, just as anybody, we're 0-2, we haven't really. We've given up some things here and there. We've left a few things on the field that we didn't take advantage of, but the guys that defensively made some plays that you can't expect 3 defensive touchdowns week to week. You can't expect it, especially when it scores. Now, you might get turnovers, but for all of them to go back for scores was just the biggest difference in the ball game. And talking to our staff and stuff, I'd handcuffed him pretty good. You know, I said, we're going to run and we're going to punt. And we're going to try to control clock. We're going to help our defense stay on the boundary if possible. We did throw a couple of touchdown passes. Jack's first start, we're starting I guess it would have been our third string Q.
Second string,
but he was hurt prior to the first 2 games. So he's coming off of that. So he hadn't played yet. And so he got a start, which was, you know, amazing.
That's
what
huge.
He did because he took care of the ball. I mean, we had 0 turnovers.
He was definitely composed, throughout the entire time.
He was a very successful high school kid down in Oklahoma, so he just got the it factor when it comes to understanding what it takes and being poised and everything. Kind
of going back to what you were saying about punting, little question of fourth quarter, about 3 minutes left, and we're on the Butler's 30, and instead of going for the field goal, you punt it with Cooper, who obviously is a weapon for our team and everything. But kind of what was the mindset going through that? Like,
well, we took a delay to back it up a little bit. I told him to kick it to the pylon, but he knows where his strengths are. He kicked it straight down the field and got the greatest hop I've ever seen, straight up. But Tristan he's been struggling. He's missed his last 3, and I didn't want to. If we had a problem on the snap or they got through on a block or anything that would have helped them gain momentum, I just didn't want to give that to them. So we went ahead and punted. Coop kept it inside the 10, which was a big deal to make them try to go the distance, basically. We talked about all that stuff, but I just didn't want to give it away.
Right.
And if Coach McCoy's bunch can just hang tight and wait for a mistake, which, you know, they turn it over on downs. This is what actually happened, but then we were able to take a knee.
Right.
But, over all those years that I was talking about, I've seen about everything. how they might have got the final score on something we gave away, or, you know, to me, very, very few times did they have to march it down the field to beat us.
Right.
And it was something we did.
And you weren't going to give them that chance.
And I just didn't want to give it away. Now, if they walked it down the field on us and won it, more power to them, and we'll shake their hand and go on from there. But our defense came up big and got the 4th down stop, and then, you know, I still wasn't done worrying because Jack is a shotgun kid and he's going to go under center. I know you could snap gun in the victory formation, but I was just having thoughts of nobody. I didn't share it with anybody at the time, but I'm having thoughts of the ball going on the ground because he hadn't taken snaps. So I'm yelling on the boundary, "Get a ball! Let's take a few."
Right.
You know, just to make sure that we're all good. And he took care of it. I mean, that's what he did all night. He took care of the ball, even when he got nicked up. You know, he was still managing to take care of the ball.
Yes, sir. And kind of piggybacking on the defense, Marcus Scott. Forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 69 yards. And how about that play on the sideline when he just ripped the ball out of the guy's hand? I mean, mid-play, just ripped it out. I mean, what can you tell us about that guy?
Well, Marcus Scott is a veteran player. He's a third-year guy, coming back for a second season to play with us. Working those fumble drills, forcing fumbles. I mean, we work turnover drills like no other, and it's showing up for us. We always talk about guys scooping and scoring. Let's turn it, take the ball and get it going back the other way, and that's exactly what he did on that sideline. I mean, he got on the fingertips of the kid and snatched the ball right out and took it back for about 55 yards.
Yes, sir.
So great player.
Just manhandle that guy. It was definitely fun to watch. And then first play of the game, I mean, Vernon Dasher just blows up their guy, and it kind of set the tone for the remainder of the game. And the defense is going to come and hit hard.
Well, the ultimate goal as a defense is not to give up the big play. We've been preaching that, and we're still preaching not giving up the big play. I know we gave up one play for sure. That was a big-time play by the Sims kid, and we, for the most part, we kept them in front of us. We made them have to work to earn things, and we let the guys know throughout the week we're going to be the most physical team out there on the field as a defense, and that led to a few turnovers, by Javon Burst getting a pick six. That pick six we didn't think was going to go to him, actually. We thought it was going to go to the corner. We had talked about that running that defensive call all week long, and we didn't think the safety would get the pick six. We thought the corner was going to be able to get it.
What's team effort, though, right, Coach?
Yeah, it's team effort. Yep. He was where he was supposed to be, and they tried to throw the fade. They tried to throw an out fade. We had to out cover it, and we had the fade ball covered, and took it back to the house.
I got to say, being up in the booth, doing the broadcast, you guys looked faster. I don't know. Did it have anything to do with being a night game, it being Butler? But in both offense and defense. But usually when the defense gets playing a little downhill, it just jumps on film. So you guys looked really fast last night.
You know what? I believe some of the night games. When we practice at night, guys got a little bit more juice, and one of the things, we didn't go to the stadium all week to practice any last week. We stayed up on the grass, and I think the guys really appreciate that a lot more. Being able to play that night game, and guys were really fired up, and they were juiced up, ready to go, and guys were hungry for a victory. And they did what it take to get that victory. And, at the end of the day, when you're out to get a win, you're going to give it all you got.
Absolutely.
It's one game at a time.
Absolutely. It definitely feels nice to, going, like you were saying, Coach Leiker, going in 0-2 against a ranked opponent now. And, I mean, the feel around campus is kind of like, how are we going to turn it around? Or, what's going to happen with this? Is this going to be a blowout either way? Or are we going to be competitive and still lose? But you guys were able to rally the guys together and put together a very good game. Something that we haven't seen, at least this year, between the Hutch and Ellsworth, out of the guys. So do you think it was a little bit, were they playing a little bit more passion? I know you referenced, being at the stadium for the first time for the week, but do you think they were kind of, let's get this for flow, let's
Yeah, I truly believe that. We talked about it. I know Coach Leiker talked about it. We know how bad Coach Flores want to be out there. I mean, he'll put it all on the line for us, and we're always talking about all in. And Coach Flores is still part of this family.
Absolutely.
Just because he's dealing with his complications and things like that, we got his back, and we know he still have our back. At the end of the day, we love him, and we're going to keep fighting throughout the season, and we know how bad we like to get Butler,
right.
Like Coach talked about through the years. It's been a while since we gotten Butler here, I guess, at home. I think they said 97 was the last time.
Yes, sir.
But at the end of the day, we got him.
Yeah.
2017.
I was 6. 97. I was 6 years old. So I got to say, it was fun to watch. Now we're 3 games in. How is it preparing going through the rest of the season now that you're 3 games in and the roster's trying to take shape and stuff? How is that in practice? And are you guys kind of settling into roles and everything like that?
Yeah, I truly believe guys are settling into their roles. Guys are starting to know their part. If we need guys to make big-time plays in the special team game, just like with the punt team. I mean, Coop punted the ball all night. We had guys, like Rogo getting down the field, making plays, making sure they didn't have a big return on the punt team. I think they had 4 yards total in the punt game. That was one of the reasons Coach Leiker decided to punt the ball. guys are finding ways to make plays in different aspects of the game instead of just having to be on the field 24/7 as a defensive guy
Right.
or on the offense. There's other ways to make plays. There's 3 phases of the game: special teams, defense, and offense. A lot of plays to be made in those in
Yes, sir.
different types of situations.
We're kind of fortunate in the fact that we have 2 Hall of Fame coaches for football, to where when Coach Flores had to step down, you were able to step in, and we're not losing anything. We're not missing a beat. So how, as a coaching staff, or how for you, Coach Leiker, how is it to be able to just kind of talk with another Hall of Fame guy who knows the game and obviously bounce things off of what you know? How is that for you?
Well, it was talked about when Aaron got the call to go do the surgery to get the transplant that I would step in. Well, it came a little earlier, obviously. The Sunshine Games were hard on him. Being out there, and it was hot, 90 degrees plus at Hutch, 90 probably at Ellsworth. And you could just see it. It was just he couldn't get around. He wasn't a factor. He said that he really couldn't offer much. Now, the Ellsworth, he went upstairs and asked me to come be on the boundary, but I still don't know if I can offer a whole lot. All I was told the guys after the first game, let's run the football, try to get time of possession. We still, Jack still threw 20 times. It wasn't like we threw it 3, but they were an awfully tough defense, and they started bringing pressure off the edges to try to force to get stops and possible turnovers. We weren't able to. We didn't turn it over, but we punted.
Right.
Okay, we did what we kind of said we wanted to do. We hoped we'd get a few breaks. We threw a touchdown pass to Wiggins. We threw a touchdown pass to
Dominique
Stampley on a simple one on the boundary, and he got a good block and just skirted down the sideline. But the fact that we were able to kind of follow what I was hoping we could do and put that plan together. Yeah, I'd love to have a better offensive total yardage night because that was pretty lopsided. But the turnover for the game was the story.
Right.
And the punt game to change field position was the story, So, and getting 3 defensive scores, some teams don't get 1 all year. And we were able to get 3, so that was pretty special to have that happen for the kids. Now, it was a 6-yard return, 11-yard return, and then he ripped the one out and went 55.
Yeah.
So they didn't, they were short based on Cooper's punts. They were starting way back there, and they turned it over. It was their mistakes, and we just didn't want to make mistakes.
Right.
That was the way I felt going in, and if we don't make mistakes, we got a chance. And it kind of played out that way, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cooper Lee, we keep bringing him up. He had 663 total yards, 395 punting, and 268 on the kickoff.
And the punting, Steve,
Wow.
averaged 44.9.
Yeah.
And I think.
And his longest was
what
60. So
what did it say? 7 out of 9 inside the 20. I don't know exactly how many landed inside the 10.
Yeah.
Though.
right.
I a good 4 or 5.
And took good bounces.
Well, exactly.
That was what impressed me, just sitting on the
But we
sideline.
had guys down there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't allow it to go in the end zone. And, as much as we like to talk OD every week, there was truly a factor in the game. And that young man has been a great punter for 2 years.
Yes.
Now, he kicked field goals, too, last year, I believe,
Yes.
and kicked off. But Tristan's a guy we have faith in, but he just
one of those days.
Yeah, the ball's going right over the top pole, and it probably could go either way. But right now, they're just saying it's wide, and so we got to keep working that deal.
Right.
So.
And we're sure he'll get it.
Yeah.
We've seen him out there in practice and everything, booting that ball around. So he'll get it.
Oh.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think for Cooper Lee, I think his longest was 60 yards, 67 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
This past week. That's again, you rarely hear of a punter being a factor, but that's a pretty big deal for us. That like you said, we pinned them at the 1 yard line for that last play or their last drive, and that's incredible.
Well, and we asked a lot of Coop,
Yeah.
to help the plan, I guess, and we couldn't ask for anything more.
Right. And then he had a huge running into the kicker. penalty against him.
Well, he's injured right now because of that.
So it's a catch-22.
But, he'll be fine. I think
Right.
we're just telling him we're not letting him kick. He's going to get treatment. He's going to lay off and get him ready for the rest of the season. So hopefully the time off. Don't punt. Don't do anything this week. And hopefully the treatment will help him.
Right.
But he's a competitor. He's a tough kid. He's going to go take an unofficial visit during this bye week to Colorado, just to him and his family to see. Now, I don't know. Coach Flores is dealing with coaches, and the assistant coaches are dealing when they start dropping in and asking. I'm sure a guy like that, if somebody's got a real need, you just don't hear about the kicker and the punter getting offers all the time from a JUCO. Usually they go get a high school kid, or they've got veterans that have walked on that have earned the right to get money. But we're hoping that he's a guy.
Well, he's putting up numbers, so I mean.
Did we ever hear either, Steve, if National Players of the Week has come out yet?
Yeah, it was two. At least for our conference, it was two. It was two defensive guys from Hutch, I believe is who it was.
Wow.
So that was pretty.
But how about the special team? Was there?
There was nothing on there for us.
Now we got everybody.
Yes, sir. Everything
pushed
was
in, so I can't imagine how they could not.
Yeah.
Just player of the week in the league, let alone, because I think those our guys, Marcus and Coop, would have been national qualified type guys.
Right.
2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
Again, who gets those?
Right. Right.
I mean, so I'm a little bit disappointed in that deal.
Yes, sir. I mean, you would think that, hopefully there's no carryover from.
Well, with 44.9 on the night on 9 punts, 7 out of 9 inside the 20, and probably would have probably looked a lot better had we said 5 inside the 10 even, or whatever that number was. But I'm kind of I'm disappointed that whoever the voting people are don't see the
quality of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Exactly.
It wins the field position all night, make their offense have to go the length of the field, and especially with the way defense been playing, give them a little bit of compliment on for the most part, on third down. I mean, I think we're 28% on the year. Our opponent's executing 28% on the year, so it's pretty decent. Make them go the length of the field. That's what we want to make people do.
Yeah. And kind of, want to bring it back to the offensive part. Jack Diamond, this was his first career start. Goes 12 for 20, 122 yards and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Kind of, going with your theme of taking care of the ball, taking care of the time. Don't think you could have had a better outing from a freshman quarterback in that situation, especially, coming in for Hassan and everything like that. Just kind of tough situation. He manned up.
Steve, Jack was our offensive player of the game because he did take care of the ball, managed the game, didn't have any turnovers, and he got hit pretty good on his, I want to say his knee or something they were working on. And so DeLon, our backup for that ball game, came in, and but Jack said he could continue, so we put him back in. And like I said in the very beginning of this little podcast, I handcuffed the coaches just by saying we're going to run and we're going to punt. Our running game was nothing. I was hoping we could crack through somewhere, and pop something, but
especially the way Justin Henderson's been running.
Well, he's a hard guy to bring down.
Yeah.
But still, when we needed to make a throw, we got a couple of scores. Jack and the receivers came through. I know we're going to have to do more offensively in the future to take some of that pressure. I can't expect the D to get 3 defensive scores.
Nice.
Come on, Coach.
I mean, that was just wonderful. But again, we were playing along with the game, and obviously, if you're behind, you can't just run and punt all the time.
No.
But we were managing to stay ahead and make those guys make the play, and they couldn't.
Right.
They made mistakes. We got to where we could get into victory formation, and always you love that set at the end of a ball game.
Right.
Well, it seemed to me Jack seemed really focused because he was making really good reads. I mean, hitting the open guy again. He didn't have a turnover. That seems to me that he's been practicing really well throughout the season, not just this last week when he had to be the starter. So, like, how's practices been going? Because, again, for a guy to step in like that and do a really good job taking care of the game, that says that, especially to come in with a game like that, how have practices been going the last couple of weeks?
Well, we've painted this week as a practice to get healthy, shorten some practice time so, they feel like there's a reward we want to reward them, obviously, for having a great weekend.
Right.
But at the same time, getting started on the next opponent. And so when we come back Monday, we're ahead of the game, But the bye week is there for taking a little time away mentally, because football is a grind, because it's 7 days a week. Usually you're doing something with them.
Right.
But for them to have a chance to relax, be a college kid, basically, coaches to go catch a game, go watch recruiting. It's just a nice break in the middle, sort of in the middle. It's still early, but practices have been good. And I'll tell you this, guys, the very first time that we made this transition last Tuesday, we run kids for missing this, missing that. That doesn't change. Every year you got to take care of some of those things. But this has been a really good group that's responded well. To this situation. Their head coach is not out there now.
Right.
And Aaron will be the first to tell you that he really couldn't get out and be seen hardly, because it was just difficult, his oxygen levels, all those things that we're aware of. But the kids have responded. That's
right.
That all I could ask for, is that they would let us, the coaches, take them on a journey that they need, that they deserve, is having some voices out there, or at least one other voice that can stand in front of them and direct them. The coaches are going to coach them.
Right. Because it could be very easily 0-2. Our head coach kind of stepped down. We got Coach Leiker coming in. We're going to coast. It could be very easy like that. But, like you said, they responded.
Well, and we try to – guys, this isn't an easy thing they're doing.
Absolutely.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
It's a grind for coaches. It's a grind for players to be students and ball players. And we're asking them to be on time to everything. We're holding them accountable. They're going to be better for it as they grow up, as far as being adults after college. We hope, we hope that's what we're trying to – football's a small piece of life, It's what they like to do. It's what's brought a lot of them to college.
Right.
If without football, some of them wouldn't even attempt it. Now they got to work hard to get the grades.
Right.
There's something they got to do to get to play. They've got to go take care of their classes, and then to see them get a chance to go on after they're done to try to finish it, and then get into the real world and be a well-respected adult with a job that you can take care of your family someday, So we talk about a lot of that. Coach Flores talked about a lot of that all the time. And so just trying to echo the things that he's brought to the players already.
Right.
We don't think there's a real drop-off in just standing in front of them.
Right.
What we're asking of them.
Yes.
To be responsible, take care of what they need to take care of, and so life's a little easier for them.
Yes, sir.
It gets hard for them when they don't do what we're asking, and then we've got to.
That's when.
Well, we got to run them extra, and they don't understand sometimes that it's important.
Right.
From a student athlete standpoint, to listen to your coaches and let them guide you into the things that will help you in the future.
Right.
The selfish ones or the ones that think they know it all, it's not going to work out very well.
Right.
It just
in
doesn't.
life, yeah.
It just doesn't
in life,
work out.
in general, that's right.
They'll still, get up every day, but is there that purpose?
Right.
We hope to instill some of that as well, just to be responsible.
Absolutely.
The responsibility of life and day to day, getting up and going to work and earning what you need to earn, because you miss a couple of days in the job and
that could be your job.
a lot of times,
there it goes.
A lot of times you're asked to take a walk because they can't count on you.
Right.
For production or whatever. This college has always been about that, that you can go, even on days where you don't care about maybe art appreciation or music or something, but it's part of the plan to get you graduated. You got to go do the little things that
execute the little things,
jump through the hoops to get you that degree.
Absolutely.
All of us have been there.
Yeah.
So
kind of looking forward to, obviously not this week because we have the bye week, but the next week we host Iowa Western. Right now they're 3-0, 287 passing yards, 270 rushing yards. As a defense, how do you prepare your guys for that? Now they play Butler this week, so it'll be a matchup to.
Well, as a defense, it's about us executing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa Western is great on offense. I don't think they're very flashy. They're trying to, big play. What they want to do is execute on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we preach to our guys about on defense is executing. If we do what we're supposed to be doing and taking the coaching and execute and go out there and make plays, then it just comes down to who has the better players. And I think we got a really extremely good defense when our guys are doing what they're coached to do, But when we're not doing what we're coached to do, the big plays show up on the field. And if we go out and execute, we can definitely give ourselves a chance. I'm sure our Western they're focusing on Butler right now, but I can tell you next week it's going to be about the Ravens.
Right.
And, us going to their place last year and beating them in their place, giving them their first home loss ever in school history.
Wow.
I'm sure they're coming back down in this place to try to return the favor.
Right.
I know probably last year we're sitting right where we were last year at 1-2 last year, just like we were when we rode in their place to play them, and we'll be 1-2 again this year. So we're excited for the game. I mean, we're still getting prepared mentally, physically trying to ease up on the guys a little bit, but mentally we can get prepared and have our minds set to try to slow their offense down from executing so much, and let's execute on our end because we have the players here to execute. Just go out and finish now.
Yes, sir. I think that's good. For me.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I know people watching are going to enjoy it. Again, congratulations again on just a win's big anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But getting one next to Butler is pretty nice. So, again,
and knocking them out of the rankings. They're not ranked this week.
That's right.
Well, that's good.
It's always a little cherry on top.
Yeah.
Well, we all have now the schedule it's a toss-up every week. Everybody's got great players.
Yeah.
Because of the unlimited rosters,
Mm-hmm.
The old days of 12 out of state or 20 out of state, or way back when it was 10 out of state and you had to rely on Kansas, are gone.
Right.
And everybody's got quality in all 22 spots. Quality meaning if the kids take care of their business, all 22, when their time is done in 2-year schools, should be getting recruited.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yes, sir.
And so anybody can beat anybody. Indy got Garden last week.
Yeah, surprising.
Hutch and Iowa Western played, and Hutch was knocking on the door to win the game and had a penalty that actually ran off the final 10 seconds, and they couldn't even get a play off before the clock ran down to nothing. So Iowa Western got the W.
Right.
I think Highlands beat Dodge City, who was the number 2 ranked team to finish in the conference, and Highland was like 6th preseason rank in the conference. Mm-hmm. So there's already a couple of upsets. I mean, ours, obviously, it was an upset because we were picked 7th.
Right.
But we at least got, a chance to get our first W, whoever it was against.
Mm-hmm.
And but we got Butler, Iowa Western back to back. Butler's got us, Iowa Western back to back. So and we've already had Hutch,
right,
who's going to have a good year because they're awfully talented too. Now we had
a chance to
let that one get away,
but
that was a matchup where I would think we're similar if we'll play, because us and Hutch were pretty competitive together, and Iowa Western and Hutch was very competitive together. So if all things are, equal as far as guys taking care of their jobs, it should be a competitive ball game. I'm hoping that's what we're hoping.
Right.
The guys play and their guys play. Talent all over the field.
If we just take care of the ball, right?
Exactly.
And
take care of the ball gives you a little bit better chance. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having
me. Appreciate it.